Welcome back, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another wonderful episode of The Rook and the Rascal. We're back, baby. It's been a while. We've been working odd. We've been playing odd. And we're back at you with some more wonderful adventures. This time, of course, diving into the classic D&D 5e. We are so excited to bring you the adventure ahead of us that we have planned for you, and all of the absolute nonsense that I'm sure that this cast of players and characters have in store for you, some of which you will recognize, and others some new faces coming onto the scene here. With that being said, you know all about me. Let's move on to the more interesting side of the game, some of our players here. To start off, first up, he's a turtle in disguise. But, you know, not as much like TMNT, just more like, you know what I mean. It's Adam Honigman.
There's nothing more horrifying than a turtle that you're unaware of. That's the scariest thing I can think of.
Next up, he is the knight, but also delights in occasionally getting his hands on some delicious pastries. It is Takeshi Fukushima.
Parents, lock up your pastries. Takeshi's on the town. Hello, everyone. I'm very sorry.
Next up, she is the embodiment of sleep and dream, but at the same time is very moody along with all of her brothers and sisters. It is Hannah Halcro.
Is this thing on? Hi. Where am I? Oh, it's so great to be here.
Finally, a giant accumulation of moss, vines, and algae from the deep swamps in Louisiana, yet somehow with a heart of gold. It is Liz Nyveen.
I have no unearthly idea what the fuck your theme is supposed to be, Tyson. I've been trying to figure it out.
He's going like vague. He's going vague comic book references.
Am I the Swamp Thing?
Yes.
Ah, nice.
You're Swamp Thing. Hannah's Morpheus. I'm one of the turtles.
I didn't catch that at all.
What comic book character can't keep their hands off of pastries?
Oh, wait a second. It's not turtles in disguise. It's robots in disguise.
What is going on right now?
I may, in fact, just be having a fever dream.
Heroes in a half shell, robots in disguise.
Well, hey, you know, turtles, robots.
They're all the same. Robots, turtles, who cares?
Guarantee if we try hard enough, we get Todd McFarlane on board this podcast. He'll show anything.
Well, it's great to know that we have a phenomenal start here on the show for our first episode of a little project we're calling New Vesara. We're so happy to have everyone here and have all of our glorious players, and to have you on this D&D journey with us. I suppose some just things off the hop that listeners should be aware of about the world for this one. Very 1920s, very noir, very dark and gloomy, and all the emotions associated with that. But also, more pertinently, is that there's no resurrection magics. So if you go down, you're dead. Let's dive into our first episode. Welcome to New Vesara, a city of rags and riches, angels and demons alike. This city is nothing the world of Weststeel has ever seen before. Born from the corpse of the ancient sky city Vesara, this place was once commanded by a collective of gods known as the Empyrean Enclave. The Enclave was overthrown by one of their own, a god only known as Osidius, later nicknamed the Mad One. Absorbing the powers of all the Enclave within himself, he became a divine emperor for close to 3 centuries. However, with the ingenuity of the great artificer Darius Remarque, societies across the world were able to transition their power from divinity into arcane innovation. As the world turned its back on the vile power of Osidius and embraced its new future, without the power of worship to control its energy, the city fell from the sky, leaving nothing but a husk of its power. Once the remains were found, a new community sprung from its ashes. New Vesara became a bastion of technological development and industry, quickly outpacing every nation of Weststeel. Quickly, New Vesara became a powerhouse all by itself, and it would never let anyone forget it. The fall of Vesara happened near 200 years ago. Since then, many things have transpired. A few years passed, The Arcanist War decimated the countryside, leaving thousands without homes. Many wanderers found themselves in New Vesara chasing a better life. But this city of gold began to reveal its gilded metal. Poverty is on the rise as companies look towards automation. Low-income work mostly consists of physical labor without regulation or insurance. Many workers are left to fend for themselves if they ever get injured, not mentioning their families. Social programs have been cut, leaving the homeless and sick with nothing. The cost of education has skyrocketed, and those who see the problems plainly can do nothing, left to the whims of the rich. Desperation is in the air, and such things breed violence. Organized crime has been around for a while, but things are starting to heat up. As the families cling to what power they have, often resulting in gunfights in the street, the police are less than helpful. If the officer you call upon isn't already bought by a local family, they're usually incompetent or actively malicious. On top of everything, a serial arsonist has been throwing the city into chaos for the past 2 years. The Night Scorcher, as the papers call him, has left a wake of destruction, destroying countless homes, businesses, and lives. The police chase at the coattails of the culprit, left with nothing but ashes. New Vesara is a city all of its own, a hell made of heaven, a heaven from hell. Whatever you think of the place, there's one thing that everyone can agree on. If you decide to step into paradise, you better be packing heat. We start off as we take a bit of a lazy stroll down into an area known as the Glass Springs. There's not much you could say for it in the sense of any notable sites, locations, mostly residential, numerous apartment buildings, even a few houses that you'll encounter, all in the same gold and strange architecture. As we coast along through the streets, we find ourselves coming to a simple apartment building, slipping down into the basement structure. As Gilly, if you'd like to describe your living space.
Okay, well, it's a pretty shitty sous-sol, as we say here in the Mont of Rial. Grimy. Water sometimes collects in it. There's like a room and a half, basically. There's a bathroom, there's like a kitchen nook, but it's kind of like a studio sort of type thing. Super messy. The bed is on like some pallets because there isn't really a bed frame. It's not great.
As you are, in a very peaceful sleep, as much as you can be inside of this apartment, you are very suddenly brought awake to the sound of...
What time is it?
You look over to a clock that's been set up on the wall. At this point, it's about 4 p.m.
Shit. I'll put on my suit, because who knows when the workday starts. If there's any, like, glasses with liquid around, I'll just drink anything, get a little hydrated, and kind of slick my hair back a little. Maybe I could pass it off as product instead of personal substances. And answer the goddamn door.
You head over towards the door, unlocked. As you see the postman standing there, this halfling in a, in like a full, like it almost looks like, almost a police uniform, just like the blue with the golden kind of accents across the uniform with like a proper postman's hat that is just standing there smiling brightly, just like, hey yo,
give me the package.
Oh, hands over. Okay, well,
close the door.
Close the door in his face.
How big is this box? I'm gonna shake it next to my ear and hear if it rattles.
Well, you look down in your hands and you can see that you have what seem to be 2 letters and the box. As you, shake the box, it's very light. There just seems to be a sound in it.
All right. Are there fridges?
Sure. Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, I'm gonna go to the fridge. It's empty. There's maybe some takeout. Whatever's in there, I'll bring to my shitty little table. There's only one in this room. And there's a book under one corner. Put the box down, look at the letters. Do I recognize any of these senders?
You do recognize both of them. One is on the part of basically the Arcane Hydro Company, just informing you that you're running a little bit behind on your last bill. And the second one is from your mother.
There's like stacks of things everywhere, very little furniture, lots of stacks though. I'm gonna tuck the Hydra bill in one of the stacks, unopened, and open this letter from my mom.
You open it up. It is just one of basically the weekly letters that you get from your mother, basically just catching you up on things. You see that she talks about how, everything with the, Moat Company is doing well. Her working exclusively as a moat cleaner. There is a little bit of a heft to the envelope at first, which makes you a little bit suspicious, until you open it and you can see that she's left a few crystals on the inside that she's basically suggested that you leave around the room, as it will help cleanse your aura and give you some luck going forward in the next few weeks or months. And she also has two little, basically like business cards that are left inside. The first one is for Dervalux, which by the end of the letter, you do hear that she basically talks about how she's looking into a new business opportunity. It's just an MLM. The other one is something she's been working on for a while, and she mentions inside her letter is that she's starting her own moat maintenance company, which you get the business card. It's Mystra's Moat Maintenance. Very simple. There's a picture of what looks to be just an open moat, an alligator like popping out, and someone like poking at it with a stick.
So I take the letter and my mom's business card, and I tack them into the wall. One of my walls is just like almost more hole than wall because I don't have shelves. I just keep everything important on the wall. It's sort of conspiracy looking, but it's fine. It's a filing system. I know where everything is. And then I throw the other business card in the trash, and I put the crystals in the freezer. Because fuck that. I'm also gonna grab a drink while I'm up. Why not? What's in the box?
It's just a simple brown paper wrapped box that's maybe a foot by a foot.
And there's no sender.
There is no sender.
Ah, shit.
You pop open the top, look inside, and you see there's something small, maybe about an inch in size at the bottom of the box.
I'll pick it up.
You pick it up, and you look at it, and you can see that it's a silver ring. It's relatively thick around the top and comes down, as there is a icon on the top of it. As you see that there is a long, elongated face, almost smiling, rows and rows of teeth, and two emblazoned red ruby eyes set into the top of it.
Does it look like an alligator?
It looks like a dragon.
Wow. Fucking god damn it. Do I know, is this a message I understand, or is it a ring?
It's a ring.
Nothing in there? Nothing recognizable about it other than that it's a dragon?
It's just a dragon.
I'm gonna put this shit ring in my pocket, grab my little trinkets and shit that I like to have in my pockets when I get out the door. You know, my sword, my little buckler, because this is D&D and everyone carries weapons all the time. Straighten my gray pinstripe suit lined with chainmail. Put on my tan detective's coat. And for our listening public, Gilly is a he-they, by the way. I'm gonna schlep to the office.
As you put the ring away, you put the box, get your stuff ready. And as you're heading towards the door, passing back through the living room. You see something on your dining room table that was not there before.
What is it?
Just a folded up piece of paper.
Okay, I get the paper.
Look it over. You unfold it, and in the middle of the page, there's just one word. Soon.
Yeah. I pin it to the wall.
As you hear a...
Are you kidding me? I'm so fucking popular today. Go open the door.
You open the door. As from just being on the other side, you can see the shadow being cast against it. As you see a tall form, probably around your height, on the other side, leaning up against the door frame. As you swing open the door, you are greeted by what appears to be a half-elvish woman, blonde hair pulled back, kind of going down this long, like, cherry red coat with a hat kind of set off onto the side, what seems to be flowers growing out of the bonnet section. Eyes down, as you can see, goes down to basically just this cherry red raincoat. Seems to be wearing some sort of just simple shoes. Otherwise, to you, just being someone practiced at this, someone doing their best at trying to remain
Indiscreet.
exactly indiscreet.
Not very good at it in that coat. Is this person familiar at all?
No, as she has a light. What looks to be a golden lighter in her hand as she's about to light a cigarette.
Are you here for work reasons?
Well, I mean, work for you, sure.
Okay, one sec. I close the door, and I draw a curtain that's attached to the ceiling to make, like, a little sort of, like, that hides the bed and the wall and the fridge and all the, like, living areas of the apartment. But it has the table and the couple chairs. And then I open the door again and say, welcome to Mystra Investigations. And my door is actually sort of weird because it has, like, one of those glass panels in it, frosted. I live here and it's also my office.
As you reopen the door, she is just taking a long drag of the cigarette.
Come in, please.
She steps inside and kind of looks around. Charming.
Thanks. Would you care to take a seat?
Looks down to the two seats. Yes. Walks over, sits down. Do you have an ashtray? Something?
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna grab any envelope from a stack and just sort of slide it along the table under her cigarette. There you go. What can I do you for?
I just want to clarify, you are Mystra, correct?
Yep, Gilly Mystra, private investigator. You seem ill at ease. Is there something wrong?
There's plenty wrong. I suppose I'm not exactly sure how to start this.
Is someone cheating on you? What do you want? Why are you here?
It's my brother. He's been accused of a crime he did not commit. I don't have a lot of the details. I've got some, and I'm happy to give them forth. But all I know is that my brother is scared right now, and he needs some help. I've sent some letters towards the public defenders to get a proper lawyer, but I've got a feeling that none of them are going to be particularly helpful. That's why I want someone proper.
What's this guy accused of?
Arson. A lot of it. I don't even fully know how much. At minimum 20. Different across the city.
20 arsons?
Yes.
Holy shit. Why do they think he did it?
As of the moment, I don't know what they do have. I don't know what they don't. In fairness, I don't think any of the police would be willing to tell us. I feel that that's proper protocol.
Yeah, well, they only really care about protocol when it's convenient for them. What's his name? Your brother. Where is he now?
He's locked up. His name is Duncan Tross.
And you would be...
Elmira.
Elmira Tross?
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem like her real name?
If you'd like to make an insight check, you can do so.
I would like to make an insight check. First roll. It's a 3 for a total of 6.
Hard to read. Seems to be you don't know whether it's from actual elusiveness or it's more from ignorance.
While I'm looking her over, does she look like she's put together? She's fashionable or whatever, but does she look fancy?
She doesn't look super fancy.
So where's this info? Do you have a folder? Do you have a dossier? A notebook?
I do have kind of pulls off to like a large side bag, pulls out what is mostly just a folder. Like there seems to be a few loose scraps of paper in there. You take a look inside. The information, while there's relatively little, it seems to be well put together. It's clear that she knows her stuff at the very least.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down at the table at this point and stop looming over. So your goal is to get him off, like, of the charges? I mean, what I meant was the charges.
My brother is not exactly the nicest kid around.
How old is he?
He's 19.
Oh, God, he's a baby.
He can be a jackass, but he's not this kind of jackass. He's been in run-ins in the past. Like, sure, he's gotten caught up in a little bit of shoplifting here or there. Him and a few of his friends have even trashed the occasional front windows of a few shops. He's not this.
Youthful indiscretions.
Exactly. He wouldn't set fire to a place if he knew that there were people inside.
You better fucking not. That's all I'll tell you right now. You got money?
I'll be able to take care of it.
You got money now on you?
How much do you need?
I quoted the half up front of my usual sort of business proposal.
She drops about 20 gold on the table.
Yeah, if it runs long, you might rack up a couple extra days, but Mystra's on the case. Which prison is he in right now?
He's being held at the 76th precinct, right across the way in the heart of the Iron Quarter.
Great. How do you want me to get in touch? If you want me to, you could just come back. I don't ask questions. Well, I do, but professionally. I don't interrogate my clients more than necessary.
Perhaps you could call me KG, but there's been a few people who've been more than happy to dive in on my goodwill. So I prefer to come by regularly, if that's fine by you. Keep breadth of the case.
All right. Sure. I might not be here, but if I am, I'll open the door.
I'll leave a note, if necessary.
Ugh, fucking notes. Yeah, sure, thanks. That's great, thanks. Anything else?
Nothing at all. Before she stands up, turns around, opens the door, begins to step out, before stopping, goes to say something, and then walks out the door.
All right. I'll see you next time. Watch her walk down the hall for a little bit, go up the stairs, and then close my door. And I'll start a case string for this, which is like a clothesline, basically, that has all the relevant, like, pieces of paper and shit clipped to it for each of my cases that I'm working on. And do I know anything about the 76th precinct specifically that wouldn't be out of date at this point?
Make a history check.
10.
There's nothing primarily of note specifically with the 76th. For the most part, it's near where your usual haunt was, but as far as like knowing people there or having any familiarity, not really.
All right, well, I guess I'm gonna go try and talk to the kid.
As we pull away from your basement apartment office complex, we instead take to the skies to find ourselves in sudden movement, chaos. People rushing around each other through these beautiful, prestigious-looking walls, tile floors, multiple statues and other iconography spreading all the way down to the set of double doors. A figure walks in between them holding files in hand, that walking in between this sea of two sets of audience before a large courtroom. One side seems to be more designated specifically for reporters who are furiously writing and editing their work as they're constantly thinking and taking pictures with very large contraptions, while the other side seemed to be more of the general public catching up on what's going on. As we can see at the front of the courtroom, there is a main judge sitting at the apex. This what looks to be a goblin woman. As you can see that there is a small dwarvish gentleman, black hair, kind of cut in like slicked down the center to two parts, as there is a woman, seems to be a half-elvish woman, brown hair, kind of swept off the bat, well put together, but a pillar of domestic life, sat beside a jury who is all just waving fans in their face, listening to this dwarf talk. Miss Webster, you're telling me that you saw Jonathan Caligari pointing over towards the defense's main desk, with what looks to be a brown-haired merfolk gentleman, hair also slicked back, in a blue suit, feet kicked up on the desk. As we also see Takeshi, if you'd like to describe your character.
You see a very small woman, probably about 3'6", 50 pounds, very well dressed. You know, classic lawyer clothing. You've got a cape blazer over a blouse, pencil skirt, spool-heeled shoes, all black and white, very nice. Her skin and eyes are very interesting. They're almost prismatic. They seem to shift color depending on where she is relative to different light sources. And her hair resembles sort of a woman's pompadour, but it seems to be composed out of, at the moment, gray storm clouds. She also has a pair of sort of translucent, almost butterfly-like wings coming out of her back as she is a fairy.
At which point, the dwarf prosecutor continues to point the finger. This is the one who jumped into your home and robbed it and held you up at blade point. I'm very sure it's Jonathan Caligari, and to be honest, even just looking at him right now, tell me exactly what he said to you while he held that sword point to your throat, as he went around demanding to know where your money, your purse, everything that belonged to you, everything that was worth anything. He said, that I would just be another footnote in the Namiri name, that I would just be, begins to tear up, pulling a handkerchief from the side, blowing her nose. I'm sorry, please, continue. He said that I owed the Namiri. You see, I had simply been in a hard place at a hard time, and after my husband died from working in the mines, and, well, I had to pay for my rent somehow for my family. If I had not taken the twins, no bank was going to give me money. I once again begins to cry. So you tell me, kind of looking over towards the jury, how can you look away when Jonathan Caligari gets to walk away scot-free? Put this man in his proper place. Put this man in the dirt cell that he deserves. Audience at this point just starts clapping as the prosecution heads back to the desk before the judge looks over to you, Regina. Does the defense have any questions?
The defense would love to ask some questions, Your Honor. Well, Miss Webster, first of all, I'd like to express my deepest sympathies for the great ordeal that you've undergone, both with the loss of your husband and with the terrible attack you claim to have suffered. I'd just like to go over the specifics of that attack. Could you, for myself and for the audience, go through the step-by-step process of what happened that night? In your own time, of course.
Of course. So I was downstairs making some evening tea for me to be able to relax, and suddenly I heard a burst in the upstairs window, and I ran upstairs. There he was. He was standing in front of me, and he looked terrifying. He had two blades out, and he had this horrible mask on his face, and he was speaking to me. He's like, you're gonna get this one now, lady. You're gonna get it. And then he came forward, and I ran back downstairs, and I tried to call out for help, but he was back on me, and he pointed the sword at me, and just said, "You're gonna be a footnote in all of this Namiri business. Now show me where your riches are." And
But those are the words that the prosecutor said that you claimed for him to have said. So is it those words, or is it different words?
No. The first words were right. It's he asked me for my money and the stuff.
So he certainly said that you would be a footnote in the Namiri history, but he may not have said to give you your money or your riches. One of the two.
No. He said I was going to be the footnote in the Namiri history and show me where your money is. He said that concretely.
All right. So he said you'd be a footnote in the Namiri history and to show you where your money was.
Yes. So I showed him a small safe that was upstairs. Well, I opened it up, and I gave him everything. I had some family gems that were left inside, some just family heirlooms, and after that, my child woke up, so I went to go and look after her, but he said, no. If you don't show me everything, that he was going to come to get her next. And you hear a collective,
And what finally happened?
So then I went over to the closet, and I gave him, it was my mother's engagement ring, and that was the last of it, and then he ran out.
And do you recall when the guard finally found Mr. Caligari?
About 3 days later.
I see. That's a very moving story, Miss Webster. But I do have a few questions. The first one is that you claim that the assailant entered through the upstairs window. Now, from what I understand, your child was in bed. You were downstairs with the lights upstairs on at that time.
I don't remember.
You don't remember if the lights were on or off?
No.
It seems like a pretty easy thing to remember, Miss Webster. I can look up here, and I can tell if the lights are on in this courtroom, and I'm sure if we turned them off, I could tell if any one of us could tell if the lights were off. It seems like a pretty standard thing to tell.
No, I don't think the lights were on.
So the lights weren't on. You saw this figure in the dark, and you saw this figure in a mask. Now, you claimed to the prosecution that you knew for a fact that the assailant was John Caligari. But the assailant was wearing a mask, and the assailant was in a dark room. So how can you know that it was John Caligari, the man sitting right there?
Because of his voice.
Because of his voice?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard John Caligari speak very much, Miss Webster? It seems like you two operate in rather different social circles.
Well, yes. I heard him talking. There was a lineup that was done, and it was his voice that was the closest, or that sounded like him. Yeah.
The closest of the lineup.
Yes.
This lineup of individuals taken 3 days after the attack. Do you recall why John Caligari was one of the individuals taken up in that lineup?
They said that he was from around the area, and he worked for he was a known worker for the Namiri twins.
So, John Caligari, and I sort of turn to the jury at this point. John Caligari was picked up for his heinous robbery due to the fact that he lived in the area, that he had done business for someone mentioned by the assailant in question, and because his voice sounded like the assailant, but with no visual evidence, and with, as I recall, were any of the stolen items, especially this engagement ring that Miss Webster so prominently mentioned and which the assailant seemed so keen to acquire, as well as this mask, were either of these found on John Caligari's person or in any of his properties?
I don't know. Make a performance check.
17.
At which point, just the evidence kind of poking through, you hear the audience just kind of, once again, just begin to very slightly gasp and begin to talk to one another. I know it was him. I know it. I don't know if they have the mask or if they have anything of the sort, but I know it was him.
It may be true that John Caligari does do business with the Namiris, as well as the fact that it may be true Namiris are all bloodthirsty killers and robbers and assailants. But that is not the question that the court here has been assembled to answer. And I sort of turn back to the jury. The question today is whether or not this individual man, John Caligari, instigated the assault that you claim that he did, without any visual evidence, without any stolen evidence from the scene of a crime on any of his properties, and with only the basis of his reputation and his voice. Now, I may be only a humble lawyer, but I think that this is not sufficient evidence for a man to lose his freedom or his life. That will be all my questions for now, Your Honor.
You see the judge looks over to the prosecution, at which point you can see the dwarf is just kind of leaning his head in his hands as reporters are furiously catching up before the judge leans forward.
I think that will be enough for today. We will,
kind of looking over towards the jury. You see the jury is just looking a little bit simultaneously bored, annoyed, and also just kind of shocked at the whole situation. Is now, we will reconvene tomorrow. Strikes down with the gavel and lets people free for the day. Which point you can see Jonathan nods to you, Regina. Nice work.
All in a day's job, John.
I don't know a damn thing about any of this business, but just gotta say, by the looks of it, people are mighty impressed. I know I am. It's always fun watching people go and fight at it.
I'm very glad you find this entertaining, John, but it's a business. Just go home, sit tight, and don't do anything that'll make the jury reconsider any decisions on you. I've got them right where I want them, and I don't want you screwing it up.
Fully understood. Stands up, straightens out the suit, and begins to head out the door.
Okay, yeah, I will head back to my offices, I guess.
As you're walking down the main aisle towards the doors, you do see what looks to be a gnomish figure standing at the doors, looking up towards you, probably in the realm of like 1920. Very vibrant blue eyes. Seems to be blonde hair pulled into a bun at the back, and just looks up to you. Hi. I'm so sorry to bother you, Miss Corinth. You have never encountered this figure before.
Can I help you? I'm sort of in a rush.
Yeah, sorry. My name is Annabelle. It's a pleasure to meet you. I just wanted to thank you for your good work out there. Like, just seeing you up on stage is like really inspiring.
You're a lawyer as well?
Law student right now. I've been watching your cases for a while, probably a few years at this point, and I'm just always in like awe of you. Like, you get up there and you're just like so charismatic, and you know the full story, and you know how to ask the right questions. And as someone who wants to follow in your footsteps and stuff, do you got any advice starting out?
Don't let him see you bleed, and get in with a good agency when you can.
Oh, great. Cool. Thank you. Just ducks and then heads out the main set of double doors.
I will keep on my way. I'm a woman about town.
Heading into the early evening, you head towards your offices, located at Aratosh Attorneys, where definitely the most ostentatious law office anyone has really ever thought about working at. As you step through the double doors, numerous offices sit on the left and right hand sides of these two numerous hallways. Up at the front, there's a billboard picture of Mr. Aratosh, who is just a full pit fiend, massive curled horns that come up, giving a big thumbs up in a big black suit, where it just says, Aratosh Attorneys, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. As you walk past the secretary, she kind of gives you a little wave as she's flipping through different files set off to different individuals. As you're heading down the hallway, you see numerous of your other coworkers that at this point in your career is mostly just kind of like nodding to them, not that much in the way of conversation, as you head to your office.
I step into my office, and it is a very large affair. It's one of those glass-walled offices, right on one wall of a building, so I get a nice view of New Vesara from my desk. A desk which, while very large and very fancy, is absolutely littered with papers and case files, as well as a number of like flowering plants that seem to have grown directly out of the mahogany wood of a desk, and which have been used as makeshift ashtrays for a lot of cigarettes.
And as you sit up at your desk, clock and out time is nearly here. As you set down your case files, make a quick perception check.
Dirty 20.
As you sit down at your desk, you immediately are struck with a sound that is not super common to you, as you hear from down the hallway as you can hear coming from the hallway as well. Todd, nice work, buddy. I heard you were working on the Adrian case. I've been keeping an eye out on it. You're doing a great work, and give Susan love from me. All right. Before curling in, as you see, standing in your doorway, a 7-foot tall, massive devil, having to kind of crouch his way in, as you see these massive black eyes, red scaled skin, and these massive horns that spread out the back. As you see your boss, Mr. Doug Aratosh, crouching underneath. Regina! How you doing?
Oh, Mr. Aratosh! I'm immediately on my feet, like, desperately trying to, like, sort my papers into something that looks, like, semi-presentable. Oh, what brings you down amongst the, us grunts?
Us grunts? What are you talking about? There's no difference between a good lawyer here and myself. All right. Do you mind if I bother you for a moment?
Of course.
All right. And just has to use like 2 fingers to grab your door handle to close it. You can see, while wearing this, seems to be gray and black suit, see one hand is clutching, what looks to be some sort of, like, file folder. I wanted to congratulate you on all the, successful cases. You seem to have a good run in front of you.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. I try my best.
Of course, and we can tell here. We can tell that you are damn good at what you do. And, as per that, situation, I hate to have to be someone to come in to give you more work. That's not exactly the atmosphere I try to cultivate, but, certain necessities here. Drops the folder on your desk. I'm afraid that this is going to have to take some priority. I know that you're working on the Caligari case.
Well, I mean, Caligari should be over pretty soon, hopefully. I think I've got the jury where I want them. What's this new file?
New file. We got a new case. It's a little bit of a sensitive one here in the city. The NVPD they're a little bit focused on making sure that this one gets taken care of, and I want to make sure that a proper defense is held for it, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, sir. If the file's on my desk, I'm just gonna, casually flip it open.
You flip it open. As you see the picture of a young man, probably in his late teens, early 20s. Seems to be a half-elvish, brown hair, kind of shaved around the sides, kept up top. Kid's name here is Duncan Tross.
I see. I'm looking at this file. It looks like a series of arsons.
It seems to be a variety of things. And as you're looking over the accusations, it's at this point, arson counts are probably counting around 24 at this point. And including what looked to be about 7 cases of manslaughter.
Is this Duncan Tross one of ours? One of the twins' little projects?
No, that's the thing. Kid is independent, but I don't know. It's always a little interesting. Once you see the cops going after someone, well, besides the point. I'm bringing this to you because based on what's being thrown out there, this is going to be a bit of a rough one. But I need my best on this. This kid is going to get a lot of heat, especially if he is, even if he is guilty of everything that's said here. Seems that he's, by simply being accused of it, is already getting up a public witch hunt up and running. It's been quite a few people that these fires have been affecting, and it seems that they've come out for blood. If there's any chance that this kid has, it lies with you. That's why you're getting it.
I see. Sorry, sir. Maybe I'm a bit slow on the uptake after today. Does this kid come from money? I'm not quite sure if I see what the benefit for us is here, wading into this sort of quagmire.
Leans forward. Well, way I figure it, 2 things could happen here. I set my best and brightest on it, and either it's a guilty or not guilty, as usual. If it's guilty, well, kid had no hope anyway, as we're called in for public defender jobs every once in a while, and usually I throw the pixie stick kids at it. I want you because if there is any chance in, I suppose you could say hell, but even the slightest chance that this kid isn't a fucking psychopath fuck up, you're gonna find it. And if you do, the only place people will come to for defense is not only Eratosh attorneys, but also you.
One eye is gonna twitch slightly at the pixie sticks comment before I go into, Well, all right. I'll get right onto it, sir.
Good. Try to get his testimony before they rough him up too much. He's being held at the 76th.
Hey, all right. Do we know what the prosecution's looking like yet? With the team?
Not as of the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised if the DA himself came for this one.
Well, all right then. Hey.
Good work, Miss Corinth. And I look forward to your performance here. Stands up, opens the door, and heads out.
As soon as he is out of view from the windows, I am going to just, like, collapse back into my chair.
We once again jettison as heading away from the east ledge and from the Iron Quarter. We find ourselves once again back in the Glass Springs. A simple set of residential apartments kind of set up on a main stretch. As we can see, the sun distantly beginning to set, light reflecting off of the gold tops of the buildings. As for Barb, please describe what your situation is right now.
I imagine I'm at home making some kind of dinner. A kitchen that is cramped enough, even for a dwarf, an elderly dwarf at that. Barb is a short, stout, silver-haired dwarfen woman with forearms like lamb chops and a tidy kitchen, but a cramped one. There's lots of knickknacks everywhere, doilies, classic old lady stuff. Not so classic old lady stuff is the array of weaponry hung on the wall, some of which is visibly battered. It's seen a lot of usage. But right now she is making some soup, and there's a cat lying on the carpet, a big, rotund, orange cat.
As you kind of setting up the soup, adding your bits and pieces of spices here and there, see the orange tabby just stretch, stand up before walking over and very easily jumping up onto the countertop, just going over towards you and your soup.
Hi, sausage. It's not ready yet.
Just kind of boops you on the hand that you're stirring with.
I can never say no to you. I scratch sausage's ears.
From which, I'd like you to please make a wisdom saving throw.
Natural 1.
Natural 1. You pull the knife back, look down, start scratching, kind of flick the knife around and go to put it back as you see something in the reflection. You see yourself, and you see someone standing behind you.
I whirl around immediately.
Nothing. No one's there.
I search my apartment.
Make an investigation check.
That is... oh god. A 7.
You begin turning over the place, just like setting sausage down, going over, looking underneath your sofa, your bed.
Hello? Who's there? I know there's someone in here. Although every time I say it, I lose a little bit of confidence if I still have not found someone in a few minutes.
A few minutes pass. Nothing.
I go back to the kitchen and stand where I was standing and hold the knife up.
As you go into the kitchen, you see your soup is starting to burn.
Oh, crap. I'll take it off the burner and scrub the burnt bits from the bottom of the pot. Not again.
Which point you hear a faint.
I look dissatisfied at the soup and cover it up so it doesn't smell. Kind of, almost because I forget, but also because it feels comfortable. Still holding the knife, I go to the front door and open. I have one of those little chain things, so I open it with the chain, not allowing it to open more than a few inches.
Okay. You head over to the door. As you look out into the other side, you can see a relatively short figure closer to your height. Seems to be like relatively plain plain clothes. Seems to just be a simple shirt. The sides kind of rolled up a little bit, as if it seems to be some sort of long sleeve. Different flecks of blue and orange kind of scattered across that seem to be, like paint drops that have flicked onto their clothing. You can see long, spindly bark fingers and these tufts of moss kind of coming up at the top of the head as you see Hazel standing there.
What do you want?
Well, that's nice, Barb.
Sorry, I just had a fright. Come in. I burned the soup.
Oh, it's close the door. Swing it open. Hazel follows you in, looks around the place before you head back towards your soup. It still smells pretty good. See Hazel kind of cross arms, heads into the archway towards the kitchen. She's like,
please have a seat. You want some?
Sure. I'm never gonna say no to your cooking. You kidding me?
You always were wise. I throw a little bit more spice in there to salvage whatever burnt bits there are, and serve it with some garlic toast, and bring it to the table.
A proper feast, okay.
Can I offer you something to drink?
If you got any ale or anything.
I have some bottom of the barrel stuff. Barb gets up with a creak, kind of bangs into the table as she's walking to the fridge. The kitchen is quite small. She opens the ice box and pulls out a few brews and pours them in it. Even takes the time to pour it into a glass. So what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I was just coming over here. Kind of goes into a back pouch, pulls out a piece of paper and hands it forward. Gallery saw my work. They wanted me to put it up.
Oh, well, look at you. Moving up in the world. Congratulations. When's it open?
It's coming out in a few days. Bit of an accelerated process, more than I was thought. So I thought, hey, reach out, see if you wanted to come.
How could I say no? Sure thing. Congratulations. I take what does the paper look like that she's handed me?
You look down at the poster, and you can see that it's a sketch of a painting, where at the top it reads, The Storms of Desire, a new series by Hazel Haywood, where you can see that there is a central figure standing with what looks like next to a volcano that swirls down into like this fire, where you can see that there are storm clouds up above that are swirling and moving with the actual fire itself.
Barb is trying very hard. I'm trying very hard not to totally roll my eyes at this. But does it have the address of the gallery on it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So, I've been to some of Hazel's art shows before. You know, we've known each other a long time. And they're usually 5 or 6 people. You know, there's art there. That's about all I could say about it. But and I'm like, you know what? We go to be nice. You know, we're old friends. But I noticed that the address of the gallery is actually hey, that's not a bad street. So I'm like,
you do recognize the name of the actual gallery. To get work in here, that's some like this is going to a different level that you have not seen Hazel go to previous.
wow. So this is gonna be a real show for once. Congrats.
Yes, ha ha ha.
No, seriously, congratulations.
Thank you.
How's the soup?
Good. I also I did have a second reason for coming here.
Uh-oh.
I promise it's nothing ominous.
What's that?
I just wanted to see how you were doing.
How I'm doing? I gesture at my cute little apartment and I say, doing great. I made some soup. What's more to tell? Barb is I'm visually bothered by this care call. I'm an independent old woman. I don't appreciate it being treated like I'm not capable.
Look, it's nothing by it. I just haven't seen you for a while, and I know that things, for as much as we are, and we just bicker back and forth sometimes, I know. And I know that I just wanted to see how you were doing. I just wanted to check in, not because I didn't think you were incapable of doing so, but just because...
Well, you're seeing me now.
Here, this time a heavier knocking.
Excuse me for a minute. Big, like, clunk of cutlery being put down on the table, and again, like, kind of knocking into the side of the table, walking through the narrow kitchen to the door. I put the chain back on and open it even more forcefully. What do you want?
You open the door as you see that there are two, what seem to be work clothes New Vesaran police officers standing at the door, looking over towards you.
Poker face. I stand by what I said. Can I help you?
Yeah, sorry. Are you Barbera Smith?
The one and only. Listen, I have a guest right now. Is this gonna take too long?
It might, ma'am. We were called down because, about a year ago you had a situation with a fire?
And Barbara's face does not move.
A bakery, correct?
Yep.
We have the kid who did it. As we cut away from Glass Springs, we once again find ourselves past the East Ledge, past the West, and into the Iron Quarter, as we find ourselves at the front door of the 76th Precinct. There, officers are working within. You can see that they're set up at desks. You can see that there's a main, one officer kind of set up at the front desk. You see a few people that are kind of sitting in chairs. One, what looks to be a small block of cells kind of held at a distant corner. And from the front doors, there's a loud sound as they blow open, as we see a large hulking figure walk through the glisten of metal armor pieces all across the body, a massive rifle strung across the back, one hand behind dragging what seems to be a half-orcish gentleman, dazed, confused, into the main hall. The officer working at the main desk just kind of looks up confused and in shock as the armored figure looks forward. If, Adam, you would like to describe your character.
You did a good enough job. There's not too many other visual elements to see. He is a hulking figure, head and shoulders above anyone else in the vicinity. You can maybe, if you had a deft enough eye, you can maybe make out that his form maybe of the furbog variety, but it's kind of hard to tell what race he is, or even what gender he is under there. Full set of armor, covered head to toe, a mask where it's hard to tell whether this is, whether there's any soul or eyes behind those eye holes. It's really just a pure, almost robotic figure who, if there's any emotion to be seen from there, it is hidden very well. With, as you said, a rifle over the back, a few pouches here and there, maybe a whole nother tricks and tools of the trade, but if you ever find out what's in those pouches, you're probably on the wrong side of them.
As the officer looks at you, looks you up and down, sees the gun, looks at the half-orc in your grip, and looks back towards you. He's like, have you come to report an incident?
I pick him up one-armed, and I slam him down on the desk and say, just here for my payment.
Oh, just looking down. Charlie! Wait a second. Is this Branley the Bullfist?
Here for the payment. Identity don't matter to me.
Holy shit. Kind of turns over to one of the other officers, kind of comes over, whispers. And you can see now multiple officers in the room have kind of like looked towards you, just kind of in slight awe, as the two kind of grab the half-orc, pull him off the table, set him down in a chair. It's kind of like begins to book him. As you see, the other officer steps forward. Sorry, Want to keep Miss more on the down low. Are you him?
The entire, almost like an action figure, my entire body kind of turns toward him. My head kind of cocks a little, and just, if there were eyes behind there, you'd imagine they'd be staring right now.
No, sorry, it's just, you know, a lot of the precincts have been talking about you. You know, you're kind of it, you know? You know, what a lot of us look up to. You know, it's like taking the law, putting it into your own hands, having to worry about all the other fluff.
I take a step towards him and say, if you keep feeling that way, you'll be the one on that desk here next.
Kind of nods. Sure. Goes to a safe off of a far wall, pulls out a pouch, closes it, comes back, hands the pouch towards you.
I grab it, open it up, count it. Does it seem accurate to the bounty?
Yep, 250 gold.
Excellent. Hook onto the pouch, turn away, and walk out the door wordlessly. As I walk, the almost familiar sound of spurs on my boots seems to clink along behind me.
And as you're crossing, you do hear a just kind of distorted a little bit by the metal and like just all the fighting. It's kind of knocked your head in a little bit. But you turn, you heard a voice, but you don't know. You just see an open, like multiple seating with a bunch of people. It seems someone called you, but it's hard to tell.
I won't step into there, but like I'm kind of like halfway out the door, and I'll kind of back up and step fully back into the station, and I'll just stand there, just to, again, kind of confirm whether or not something has caught my attention.
You stand there, and it's probably like a good 5 seconds of just an awkward stance where you just see everyone inside this sitting room is just staring at you. As before, you see someone stand up. As you see a muscular, disheveled, familiar figure to you. Black hair kind of scattered, gnomish figure. Shocked, looks almost like he's been crying for a bit. As you see Danny Elver, also known to you as the head baker at the Toast of Town.
Danny?
Boss, is that you?
You're not supposed to acknowledge me as part of the agreement.
So, sorry. I don't know you. I'm sorry. It just turns. And...
I grab him by the collar, and I drag him to the door of the station with me.
See, other people are looking like surprised and taken aback as you make it to the front door.
Well, you've bloody caught my attention already, so we may as well finish it up.
Kind of looks up towards you. It's gone.
What's gone?
The bakery.
What do you mean?
They burned it down.
What'd you do now, Danny?
I didn't do anything. It was dead of night.
I pay you bloody well enough so you don't have to owe any money to anyone around here.
No, I don't owe anyone money. I swear, it had nothing to do with me. I'm not in business with Namiri or the Umber Heels or any of the rest of them. Had nothing. It was just a fucking stupid kid. Apparently they have him here today.
Where?
Downstairs in one of the holding cells. I'm supposed to go down there and see about him. See if I recognize him. Apparently people around town have said he's been getting into rough business.
I let go.
Look, I'm sorry.
I'll push him towards him and say, you go back to the remnants of your bakery and see if any of my belongings have survived. I'll handle the kid.
Alright. No, I'm sorry.
Bloody apologize. Just get it done.
Head down. Turns and begins to head to the street.
My shoulders will slump in such a fashion that will imply to anyone that I am annoyed at what I need. At the fact that my day has just gotten more complicated. I head back to the desk.
You can see Half Orc has now been... seems to be in the process of being booked, as one of the other officers is now standing at the desk just... Oh, you're back. Is something wrong with the payment?
Payment's fine. I need to see someone in holding right now. Some kid in for Austin. A baker. Burned down.
Why do you want to see him?
I lean enough forward to impose my figure. I need to see the kid.
Make an intimidation check.
14.
You know what? I think we can figure that out. Just give me a second. I'll be happy to accompany you. Just kind of grabs a set of keys, turns back towards you, down the hall, which point begins to lead you down a left-hand corridor, leads to a series of steps down before getting to basically into the basement through a iron door that leads to a series of numerous cells, like probably like a good 14, 15 cells just all scattered out around this basement. You can see that there is a desk down here with another officer. Don't worry about it. This guy's, he's on the level. See the booking officer is just looking confused, looks over to you, shrugs, goes back to some paperwork before the two of you are led down a main hallway as you arrive at basically the cell at the farthest west end of the actual building. The cells in here are sparse is a giving word. There's a bucket and a bed. Sometimes that bed has a frame. See a variety of people who are all either sitting down. So you see some that seem to be probably ill, or some may be faking illness. It's a wide variety of people. But as you hit the end of this section, you can see just lying in bed, which seems to be older teenager, brown hair kind of mopped over the back, eyes closed, very faint, pointed ends to the ears. As you see the officer just kind of smacks the bars with a club. Gunk, gunk, gunk. Duncan kind of looks, like tilts his head down, looks at you. Who the fuck are you?
You burned down a bar earlier. Want to know why?
I didn't burn down anything, you twat.
Why are you here?
Because people think that I burned down a fucking... I don't know. What do you say it was? A bar?
A bakery. It's possible I said bar, but I meant bakery, if that was the words that escaped my mouth.
I don't give a shit if it's a bar, a bakery. I didn't do it. Alright? People figure this shit out and they'll let me out of here in a few days.
Well, it's a shame for you, I step forward. It's now, not a few days from now.
What, are you gonna let me out now?
I look at the... Is the cop still with me, or have I been left alone?
No, the cop is with you.
I need a glass of water.
Sure. Turns and you hear a ting, ting, ting from behind you.
Now listen here, you little shit. You're gonna explain to me why you're locked up here, who sent you to do what you did, why you did what you did, and if bloody hell you took anything, I swear to God, being locked up will be the last of your worries.
Which point stands up from the seat, hands in pockets, begins to walk towards the bars separating. Look, I don't know what to tell you. Whatever was in your bakery, I don't give a flying fuck.
I'm gonna reach through bars, grab him, and pull him towards the bars.
Okay, make an athletics check.
There it is, nat 20.
Nat 20. You just pin the side of his face up to the bars. Good God, son of a bitch!
I'm gonna tell you something that the only people who know are either paying or have killed. So you'd better bloody hope you're not one of the ones that gotta die here. But that bakery, it ain't Danny's, okay? It's mine, under my payroll. You think that place is still standing because they like his shite bagels? No. It's where I stay when I need somewhere to go. It's where my things are. It's where my business is held. And so if there's anything at all, anything that you can remember right now about why you might have been near there, I need to know now.
Make an intimidation check at advantage.
It's gonna be a 15.
Pulled up against the bars. Jesus fucking... Look. I didn't fucking burn it down, okay? But when a place burns down, sometimes there's nice stuff left behind, okay? Okay. Did I maybe swipe a bottle or two? Sure. You want to hook me up on that much? Fine. But I didn't burn down the fucking bakery. I don't give a shit who owns the bakery, okay?
I'm gonna take a while I'm doing, I'm gonna pull a knife out of my pocket and kind of slowly inch it towards his eyeball.
Jesus, holy fuck! Did someone help me here? Oh god!
I'll stop it like an inch away from his eye. It's incredible. You had one story before, and now suddenly you have another. So let's see if it changes again, huh?
Look, dude, seriously, you can check my shit. I didn't do it. I didn't do it, okay? I didn't do it.
Then who did?
It's about which point, Gilly, you arrive down the steps. As you look down the hallway, as you see an officer kind of sitting at a front desk, looking over paperwork, look up to you confused. You see the kid being held up, someone holding a blade to his eye and slowly pushing forwards.
I don't think that's supposed to be happening. Hey, back off!
I don't flinch.
Are you gonna do anything about this?
All right. Come on.
I'll give him a shrug and a shove back in. I'll kind of spin the blade around my finger and I'll saddle it back in.
Gonna go past this asshole and check on the fucking kid.
You see the kid is sprawled out on the ground. Just...
Doing okay.
What are you? His father? His social worker? His lawyer?
Lawyer? Representation, let's say.
Regina, following directions here about that point. I'm the lawyer as you arrive down into the holding cells.
Well, I guess I'm fucking irrelevant now, am I? You, kid, are you Duncan Truss?
Yeah?
Alright, kid, shut the fuck up. Don't say another word.
Bloody hell. How many lawyers does this kid have?
Only one, and it's me. I don't know who the fuck you two are. I turn to the cop at the desk. What the fuck kind of joint are you running here anyway?
I also have serious questions, actually.
And it's about this point, as the crowd has grown larger, that Barbara, you have arrived at the base of the stairs with the two other officers.
I've been asking a lot of questions on the way over here with my stack of newspapers. I study the newspaper every morning for 4 things: the funny papers, the weather, obituaries, and mentions of arson. I have a collection of mentions of arson, and I am like full on trying to figure this out myself, irrelevant to whatever case is happening as well. So I've been asking the officers, okay, like when did these occur? Like what kind of connections do the businesses have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
At this point, they're just over-exasperated. I'm really sorry, but we are not at liberty to say about any more information on the other cases. What the fuck is going on?
Useless cops. What's going on here?
You guys are able to head on down as the two officers. Who are all these people? Was it booking officers like, I don't know. I was told to let him in. Fucking fine. Kind of points over to Duncan, to you, Barb. Do you know this kid?
What does he look like to me?
Seems to be half elvish, brown hair. Make a history check. I'll say you can do it with advantage with your locals ability.
That is 12.
You can say conclusively, positively, you have never seen this kid in your life. He has never been anywhere near your bar, and you have no idea why the fuck he's being considered. And that's the point where we're going to leave off for the next episode.
Oh, wait, I should describe my character. Am I allowed?
Yes, Gilly, as you have arrived in front of everyone, what does your character look like?
So I guess I'm a bit taller than Elmira, however tall she is. I am a half sea elf. So I've got blue skin with like these jagged white sort of like fish type stripes like on my face and my forearms and stuff like that. And these lionfish sort of crests coming out of the side of my face that like can flare up or be less obtrusive. Dull silver hair, brown eyes, huge bags, just super haggard. I can't grow facial hair, but like if I could, it would just be stubble constantly. And I always look vaguely wet, which is how I keep my hair slicked back too.
Vaguely wet.
Yeah, I'm a slimy little dude.
which point, as we've hit the end of our episode, is there anything people would like to plug?
I don't know when this is coming out, but it might be after season 2 airs of October Jones and Fish with Legs. Oh my god. Did you miss this part of the program? Because that's the only thing I have, really. It's a fantasy adventure series, also about a fishy person, but she's much cuter than Gilly is, and also a teenager. And I think everyone in the show this season is in it. Yes, I'm correct. I'm correct in that statement. And everyone in the show is even in season 2. So if you're not tired of these guys after one whole episode, maybe you should check it out. October Jones and Fish with Legs, octoberandfish.ca.
I don't know when this episode will come out. I also don't know when new episodes of Pablo Tull's cool podcast Aim for the Bushes will come out, but I guest starred on 2 of those episodes, which will maybe be out by the time that this enters the public consciousness, and you can check them out. I have a couple wonderful conversations with Pablo Tull and Alexander Cruz of October Jones and Fish with Legs fame. I won't spoil what our discussion topics are, but they are wonderful. Pablo and Alex are very smart, very eloquent individuals who I had a great time having conversations with. And hopefully the topics will still be timely by the time these things come out.
Yeah, I'll talk about a show. Tyson referenced this at the beginning, so I'll talk about... I just watched the Sandman series on Netflix, the first season, and it's pretty cool. Recommend y'all watch it. It's based off a comic book by Neil Gaiman that I didn't read the comic, but I did listen on a recent trip to and from New York. I listened to the audiobook version, which is excellent. Highly, highly recommend it. There's 2 volumes. They're exclusively on Audible, which is a little frustrating, but also you can get a free trial on Audible and get yourself a credit. And if you have Prime, you can get 2 credits, so you can get both volumes. The series is on Netflix. Neil Gaiman's out there on Twitter trying to explain to people how Netflix's absolute poppycock algorithm works. So by the time this comes out, your input into the show will be worthless, because apparently Netflix only gauges interest in shows in the first month, and then nothing else matters. So anyways, go watch the show, because they've been trying to do this project for years and years, and I think the show's very wonderful. And listen to the audiobook, read the comic, and I think it's just very cool. And just in general, support the media that you like, because otherwise it will go away, and then you'll regret having never supported it. So do that.
Go get a library card. I recommend it.
With that being the case, thank you all so much for listening. If you like this episode, and there's of course going to be more coming out very, very soon. If you like this series, make sure to check us out on YouTube and Spotify and wherever else you get your playlists. You can check us out under The Rook and the Rascal. On YouTube, you can check us out under Three Kings Loot. Get all your board game news from thebagofloot.com and all your board game needs from threekingsloot.com. That's it from us. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time.